And it could, I don't know, I can't remember if it was good or not. It just was like the fact that you knew you was eating something that you didn't know that it was. Like, what is this?
All right, we get praise and esteem and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's pick this up. John chapter 5 and verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. And there they which testify of me, and you will not come to me that you might have life. His name you receive me not. Another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All right, y'all. Let's come over here to Psalm 76. (76 and 1). And Salem also is his tabernacle and his dwelling place in Zion. Let's return back to Psalm 78. We stopped at we'll pick it up at about verse 36, if we would. And they remember that Elohim was their rock, and the high Elohim their redeemer. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouth, and they lied unto him with their tongues. For their heart was not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. But he, being full of compassion, forgave their iniquity and destroyed them not. Yea, many a time he turned his anger away and did not stir up all his wrath. See, that goes back to what we were talking about being slow to wrath. Because he that worked wrath does not work the righteousness of Elohim, and he that is slow to wrath has great understanding. So let's take a look at that in Luke chapter 18. Is it Luke 18? I don't think it's Luke 18. It might be though. Let's see. I think it's Luke 18. No. Luke 18 is not what I desire. Oh, it's Luke chapter 9. I'm sorry. Luke 9 is what I desire. Luke 9 is what I desire. Luke 9 and 51. And it came to pass when the time was come, received up steadfastly, set his face to go to Jerusalem. And he sent messengers before his face, and they went and entered into the village of the Samaritans to make ready for him. And they did not receive him, because his face was as though he would go to Jerusalem. As James and John saw this, they said, Lord, will you that we command fire to come down from Shamaim and consume them, even as Elijah did? Oh, my goodness. And when his disciples, James and John, saw this, they said, Lord, will you command fire to come down from Shamaim and consume them, even as Elijah did? But he turned and rebuked them and said, you know not what manner of ruach you are. Oh, my land. And you come to destroy men's lives, but to save them, to wrath. But he that is slow to wrath has great understanding. And the understanding is that the son of Adam, or Elohim, has come to save men, not to destroy men. You know what I'm talking about? When you're dealing with anger, when you're dealing with wrath, you're seeking to destroy. Elohim does not seek to destroy. Because again, let's look at Exodus 34. We referenced it. Let's look at it. Exodus 34 and 7, 34 and 6, if you would. You can make it 34 and 5. You got to understand who Yahuwah is. See, most individuals will jump up. He's a man of war, and that he is. But at that point, that means his wrath has been kindled. That is not his desire to go to war. But he is a man of war at the same time. So you understand that, and we'll take a look at it in Romans 11. You understand that there's goodness and severity with this man, that he's not to be played with. See, individuals will love to tell you Exodus 15, but they won't tell you Exodus 34, but understanding who this man is. Exodus 34 and 5. And Yahuwah descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah passed by before him and proclaimed, Yahuwah, Yahuwah Elohim, merciful, gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and upon the son's son, unto the third and the fourth generation. Moses made haste and bowed his head toward the earth and worshiped. Notice again, look at what he led off with declaring of who he is. This is who he is. He's merciful, and we'll just look at it. Number one, when you look at proclaimed, of course, you know that is Korah, and that is him reciting, proclaiming. He's letting it be known that this is who he is. That is a proclamation and declaration of the living Elohim that this is an Elohim that has complete compassion and is merciful. For the English definition of compassion, for those who don't know what it means, because that means he's an Elohim of comfort, as we've already discussed. He is able to console. But when you're dealing with compassion, you're dealing with sympathetic pity. Turn around and look at this here, right? This is one of the reasons why the text says, come over here to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. This is why the text says this right here. This is why Yahushua cried when Lazarus passed. This is why he wept over Jerusalem in Luke chapter 19. First Corinthians chapter 12, verse 22. First Corinthians chapter 12, verse 22. And those of the body which think to be honorable, upon these we bestow more abundant honor, and our uncomely have more abundant comeliness. For our comely have no need, but our human put the body together, giving more abundant honor to that which lacked. There should be no schism in the body. The members should have the same care one for another. And whether one member suffer, all members suffer with it. Pity. Remember this here? Let's take a look at something, right? I mentioned this verse the other day. That he has compassion upon you. He understands your wrongs. That ain't what I want. That is not what I want. Because I want to get the Hebrew word for pity. But that's not going to do it. That is not going to do it. Come over here to Job chapter 6, if you would. Job chapter 6. Job chapter 6. Because it's another word in the psalm that I'm thinking about. I want to see where I'm going to pick this up out of Job chapter 6. 6 and 8. Job 6 and 8. Job 6 and 8. Oh, that I might have my request, and that Elohim would grant me the thing that I long for. Even that it would please Elohim to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off. Then should I yet have comfort. Yea, I would harden myself in sorrow, let him not spared. for I have not concealed the words of the Kadash one. And you should know that that's dealing with Mashiach himself. When we look at hardening himself in sorrow, Salad, that is the jump for joy, to leap with joy. He found joy in his sorrow. Now you'll sit back and look at that and think that makes absolutely no sense. But this should be very easy for y'all to ascertain. Where can you see that he found joy in his sorrow? Where in the Gospels can you see that Mashiach found joy in his sorrow? Sorrow here is kill, kat yad and lamad, that is anguish, writhing of fear, pain, and agony. Where can you find Mashiach having joy in his sorrow? And that is kakad for conceal. And of course, it is the Hebrew word for promise, for words, not debar, but a mer, uttering, speech, word, promise, command. He did not hide the promise of Elohim. But where can you see that he would have comfort when he had joy in his sorrow? See, this is an example of Elohim being a merciful Elohim, having pity upon his creation. Oh, I'm waiting on y'all, and I got time, cuz. I got time, cuz. Luke 24 and 46. I do not believe that will suffice, so young man. Let me look and see. Let me make sure, though. Let me make sure before I make that proclamation. Not right there, not right there, not right there. You have a specific pinpoint marker where in the midst of his sorrow that he had joy. No, that's not joy in his sorrow. In that particular passage, he was. That is in the general vicinity. Let's take a look at Matthew chapter 26. You can pick it up Matthew chapter 26, verse 23. It is written of him, but woe unto that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It had been good for that man if he had not been born. Then Judas, which betrayed him, answered and said, Master, is it I? And he answered and said unto him, You have said. He took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, Drink you all of it. For this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed fruit of this vine. I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the day when I drink it new with you in my Abba's Malkuth. And when they had sung a hymn, they went out into the mountain because of me this night. For it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. But after I am risen again, I will go before you into Galilee. Now you got to sit back and look at it. When he eat this bread and he drink this blood, that's when he's already taken off into death. Now, of course, Matthew 26 and 36 is when he lets them know that he was exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. But of course, you see that he has this joy because he's already taken comfort. He just told them that when he resurrects, that he will go with them in front of them in Galilee. He's already had comfort, so therefore, Salad, and that is Samak, Lamah, and Dalit. The shepherd has grabbed hold to the sacrifice. This is why he is able to leap with joy. which is why in a saddened state that this man would be willing to sing a hymn unto Elohim. So you can't sing hymns unless there's joy in your heart towards Yahuwah. Can't do it. And this ain't no disrespect. We ain't talking about what we doing now. We talking about really singing a song. We're not talking about us writing rhymes or singing songs and clapping. You're talking about a serious hymn dedicated with joy towards Yahuwah. What you see numerous times contained in the book of Psalms. Individuals don't sing hymns to give praise, honor, and esteem to Yahuwah. That's a different type of, especially in the midst of sorrow. This man is in the midst of sorrow, but he had already decided, I'm going to grab hold to this sacrifice. I'm going to grab hold to it. I know that I'm going to be hung from a tree, and I'm going to latch onto it. That gives us an example of how to be able to be joyful in the midst of pain, in the midst of sorrows. That gives us the example. You understand? A lot of individuals talk a lot of things when it comes to the text, but a lot of individuals, they don't really believe in Yahuwah for real. And y'all already know that. They don't trust, they just want to be known. You know what I'm talking about? And you're going to be known. But do you want to be known in the fashion that you desire, that you're seeking to be known, is the question. That is the question. Prayerfully, that is understood. And of course, you know, he didn't conceal the words of the Kadash one because he made known the righteousness of Elohim unto his apostles. That is where the reference of the Luke 24 and 46 would be known. And of course, he said, I taught openly in the temple and in the synagogues and the streets. The people know what I said. Let's continue. Job 6 and 11. He said, what is my strength that I should hope? And what is my end that I should prolong my life? Let's take a look at that. Let's look at it. Let's understand it. Of course, you know what strength is. That's koach. But we want to look at hope. And of course, that is your call. Yad, Kat, and Lamad. To wait, to hope, to expect, to tarry, to trust. And that's what most individuals can't do. You got Yad, Kat, and Lamad, right? So we know the work of the shepherd separates. Well, what does it separate us to? It gives me another opportunity to grab a highly favored verse for matters such as this. Habakkuk chapter 2. You could pick it up at verse 3. Y'all bear with me. My leg went numb. Foot's numb. Yahuwah willing, it shall pass. You could pick it up at 2 and 1. It ain't going to hurt nobody. Prophet Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. I will stand upon my watch. I will set me upon a tower and watch to see what he will say unto me. What shall I? Yahuwah answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon the tables, that he may run that read it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and it shall not lie, though it tarry, wait for it. Because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright. What did we read? Bastard. What did we read? We read that by the knowledge of my righteous servant will justify many. We read a verse that said, how simply by living by his faith. Let's look at what word is used for faith in this passage for clarity's sake. That is amunah, that is steadfastness, that is fidelity. We don't live by our steadfastness and fidelity. We live by the steadfastness and fidelity of the word of Yahuwah. See, that's where dudes get the game twisted. You think you living by your faithfulness, nigga, no. You living by the faithfulness of the man whose words you're following, that you have a hope and expectation in. See, of course, when Mashiach had just told those men, when I'm resurrected from the dead, I will go before you into Galilee. He had a lot of things, but boy, these people not going to be prepared with time to ride. I done already told you this here, man, and I'll tell Ambrew walking anywhere, anytime. You don't get no faith from no commandments, man. You ain't going to develop no faith in that because that's what Yahuwah delights in and what he doesn't delight in. That's not going to cause you to have trust in that, because those commandments are not of a promise. He didn't promise you no law. He promised you a land. He promised you a kingdom, and the kingdom that will be ruled by the everlasting and righteous Elohim, Yahuwah of hosts is his name. That's what he promised you. That's what he promised you. And not at any time did he promise Abraham a law. His law has been from everlasting. The law was a part of the agreement of the covenant in order to receive said promises. That's what that was a part of. The promises was on the strength. If you already promised you was going to live uprightly according to the promise to begin with, you were already going to do that. Niggas don't believe in what this man promising them. I just listened to these white talk about climate change. And he said, you know what? The world has gotten worse because you've moved away from quote unquote traditional religion, and people have made their own religions. They've made religions out of being woke. They've made religions out of all type of things because individuals have no fear of respect or anything or any regard for Yahuwah because they feel like his words do not serve them. Nigga in the cut, yeah, because a white man wrote it. I don't even know why they think that white men hate women. I don't think there's any race of men on the earth that hate women. Are there men on the earth that objectify women for their lust? Absolutely. But what most of these individuals are supposed to is a hatred of a woman. And that's a weak man. That's why the world is in utter chaos, because these niggas is hoes. Goodness grief. You have grown men that spend an inordinate amount of time going back and forth with women about matters on a free app. You got grown men who get upset because somebody say something about Kevin Samuels, a nigga whom they've never met. Woman, why do you even care? Why do you even feel that it's necessary to even go back and forth with that? If you feel like these women have unrealistic standards that can't be met and they gonna die alone, then let them. Why you feel the need to keep telling them about it? I know why you feel the need to keep telling them about it, because eventually you feel like this make them look at you as some great savior because you feel really bad about yourself. You're nearly not executing as a man as you should be. And you feel like all these women done did you wrong in your entire life. And now you feel like you have a medium to strike back at them. Whole nigga, get your life and your mind together. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas spend entirely too much time worrying about what women think, say, or do. Why do you care? You ain't taking care of her. You ain't sleeping with her. And you ain't got to live with her. So why do you even care? You got women who sit back, oh, these men are dusties, these men are this. Well, if them niggas is all that, then go get you a man who's not. But if you can't get you a man who's not, and you're spending an inordinate amount of time talking about men who, then there's clearly something wrong with you, because your energy should be going to your man. See, this is what happens when you remove Yahuwah from anything. You know what I'm saying? Look what you got going on. Man, if a nigga get into some money, man, or is working in the community or raising his kids, they said he ain't got time to be going back and forth with no broad on no free app. He ain't got no time for it. We ain't talking about, having a little engaging. This man is not just going to be going back and forth. Man, I used to see this junk when I first got in the word, man. Hebrew dudes trying to make women admit on Facebook. What's wrong with you, cuz? What's wrong with you? Something's wrong with you. Woman carries herself with, regardless if she's on Facebook having a discussion with a man or not. That ain't got nothing to do with you trying to tell her submit to me, woman. Silence. This ain't no assembly. Boy, you on Facebook, nigga. You're on a thread. Nigga can't exert their dominance nowhere with a woman but sexually. Can't exert it nowhere. Man, we were just talking about this in the truck, man. I done told y'all this before, and I tell it to you again, man. Just to make sure that you tell them young bloods, man, not to do this here. Man, don't you niggas never in your life counsel nobody to move in no woman's house. You know what I'm talking about? Just don't do it. I ain't talking about y'all went and got the spot together, I'm talking about that's her spot. And she would have to add you to her lease or to her deed. Boy, don't do it. Just don't do it. Because that's not your house, man. And the minute things go sideways, she going to let you know that that's not your house. You know what I'm talking about? You can't come in there and try to let your nuts hang in gorilla pimp in a dominion that's not yours. That's not your dominion, boy. And your daddy supposed to told you that, nigga. Your uncles or somebody supposed to told these dumb niggas stop doing that junk. And that's the same thing of going back and forth with a woman on the internet. Well, you ain't got no rule and dominion in that place, boy. Let that woman be. You know what I'm talking about? Focus on building what you got to build. That's what Mashiach did. Mashiach ain't walking around here focused on people that were not a part of his dominion or rule. If they wasn't up under his authority, they wasn't his concern. John don't make no sense to me, man. If a woman say she don't want to do making $40,000 a year, then brother, then don't fool with her then. You gonna make her want something she don't want, bro. She ain't gonna respect you, my G. She gonna drag you. She gonna drag you. You don't want no fat woman, man. You don't want no woman with a whole bunch of kids that don't fool with them. Don't get with one of them and throw it in her face every minute of the day. Nigga, that's gay. Now you want to talk trash to her because she overweight. Well, you knew she was overweight when you went round now. You know what I'm talking about? Now you want to talk trash about her. Nigga, you gay. You know what I'm talking about? If you knew that nigga like this here, oh, I want a man who's ambitious. If you knew that nigga was working somewhere and he was content to do his 25 years and get his pension and cash his 401k out, then leave that man alone. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, straight up, leave that man alone, man.
I'm only laughing because that's my mom. My daddy like, I'm happy. What about you?
Yeah, leave that man alone, man. You want him to be this great entrepreneur. Newsflash, everybody don't want to do that. Newsflash, majority of entrepreneurs are failures multiple times over. You know what I'm talking about? That junk ain't what you niggas think it is. You want to say, my man's ambitious. Ambitious for what? Because you ain't going to be around here trying to do the work necessary to get that bread up. You just want to be able to tell somebody, hey, man, that man say he going to work. They pay him a salary. They give him a salary increase every year. He putting into his pension. He got a 401k. He done threw some money in a Roth IRA, and I'm going to bed. And when I retire, I'm gonna have a decent amount of funds. If I want to work part-time, I can, but I'm going to enjoy myself. And you're gonna leave me the hell alone. And guess what? Ain't nothing wrong with that. These women being these men, I need a man who ambitious. Ambitious for what? You want a nigga to come and prove to you why he ought to take care of you. Get the hell out of here. You know what I'm saying? That don't even make no sense. And what is he getting in return? I didn't want you to sit back here because this is how people approach Yahuwah. This is why people don't serve God no more. I didn't want y'all to know this. I'm not just talking about this just to talk about this. Because when they were talking about this climate change, he mentioned this, why people have, because he didn't mention any other religion besides Judaism and Christianity. We know there's other ones out there, but he was talking about specifically in America. Why you think these people go to all this wokeism and all this old extra stuff, man? I heard a dude today say, yeah, man, new age stuff and witchcraft creeping into the Hebrew community. Nigga, you about 3.5 to 4 years too late. He nigga been on that. People been on that because they don't take joy in their sorrows. And I ain't talking about no sorrows. Come over here to 1 Peter chapter 2. I ain't talking about the sorrows we get from our own misdoings. We just talking about the sorrows that come from serving Yahuwah. People don't take no joy in serving Yahuwah in that. Man, y'all think it's a game. And the reason why I mentioned that the juxtaposition to it is you got people who go back and forth all day on a free app with people who don't believe in Yahuwah, trying to convince them that they should believe in Yahuwah. That's no different than going back and forth with a woman about what she wants. If that nigga want to go to hell, what you going back and forth with him for? You know what I'm talking about? That don't make sense. Then you sitting back, there be people like this here trying to convince you that your husband ain't right. You listening to him. I'm not finna listen to nobody convince me why they don't believe in the word. That's your business, bro. I don't care. Y'all just don't know how many times I done told people, I don't care. I don't believe in the Bible. Okay. Because what is the prevailing thought process? That if you believe in the book, you're going to spend every minute of every day trying to convince somebody into why they should. And I'm not. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not going to do that. If you lead, because guess what this man say, man? Hey, man, Hey, that's the song. That's the seed sown by the wayside, and the devil has snatched away what was already sown in their heart because they did not understand. I can't make them understand. If they ignorant, I'm gonna let you be ignorant. I'm not finna be going back and forth arguing with somebody to convince them that Yahuwah is real. That's not my job. That's not what he sent anybody to do. So when we think we do this, we think we living by our faith. You're supposed to live peaceable lives according to the promise of Yahuwah and hold fast, whether you're alive or whether you sleep, that you receive it. As simple as that, man. It's not difficult. You know what I'm saying? It's not difficult. I done told y'all this before. You got brothers, they find it difficult to love their brothers in the word. You know why dudes find it difficult to love their brothers in the word? Because if they wasn't in the word, they wouldn't kick it with them. And that's why they had a problem. That's why it's a problem. Because and this is why I say most of them wouldn't kick it with them. Because a lot of dudes in the word, they flaw. And when I'm talking about flaw, I'm not talking about because they were green. You ain't got to be in the street to be a soldier, to be a real one. A lot of dudes just flaw. They know what I'm talking about. And when I say flaw, they're not true to who they are as a man. Now it's different if you don't know who you are as a man. And that's not you not being true. You just haven't figured out who you are. That's a different scenario. That's where your brothers can sit down with you and help work that out for you, who you are as a man. But most niggas be pump faking, man. And I ain't even talking about pump faking on if they living according to the word. That's not who you are. Some niggas is nasty and they dirty. But at the same token, most niggas just don't. You wouldn't be friends with this person regardless. See, we've had this conversation before. Several other brothers, we didn't have this conversation amongst ourselves. See, this is the difference. Y'all going into it like, oh, I got to love, we in the word, I got to love you, versus actually learning to be this man's friend. Because loving this man according to the word should be easy because you don't want nobody to do no foul stuff to you. That don't take you having no connection to this man to do that. But see, it go above and beyond the way you doing it, not because the word say this what you supposed to do, but because that's my nigga. That's my brother. That's my friend. That's when it's different. And that's why you don't say you don't have no brotherly love. That's why you don't have it. That's why you don't have it. Because you don't see him as a brother. You see him as an individual who you know. Yeah. So you don't have the connection with him because you don't view him as a friend. It's better when you know whether we was in the word. We done told a couple people that, man, whether we was in the word or not, that's my nigga. The word is not why this is my nigga. He's my nigga because of who he is as a man. You got dudes get upset about all type of stuff. He don't talk to me and hang with me like he hang with him. Nigga, so what? You sound like a hoe. You know what I'm talking about? And if it bothers you that much, then you're like, you know what, brother? I like to hang with you. Some people click easier than others, man. They hang tighter than others. That junk ain't that serious, man. You think Jonathan was the only friend David had? You think Jonathan was the only friend David had? Do you think them niggas was walking around there? Why you hang with Jonathan like that? Wish he hang with me like that. He ain't make a covenant with me like that. He ain't say his love for me surpassed the love of a woman. That's the type of niggas we got walking around here. That's whole nigga energy, man. That's your mama. You are a male version of your mama. Man, that junk don't make no sense, man. No doubt. I mean, this stuff that men just supposed to understand. Come on, man. I grew up with a whole gang of dudes in my neighborhood, man. Matter of fact, come my homeboy, when I was dropping him off when we finished working today, he said the same thing. That nigga say, you know, you got a crew, and then you got crews inside of crews. Everybody know this if they done hung with a bunch of niggas. Man, it was at least about 60, 70 us in our neighborhood, man. And we could rotate hanging with each other every single solitary day. But then you had some nigga, they were just like this here. And ain't nobody sit back and look at me. That nigga hang with bro. Tighter than he hang with me. That's whole nigga energy. You know what I'm talking about? That's whole nigga energy. Nigga, no man, shoot, them boys tight. And everybody know that nigga be tight because they usually share multiple things in common that they don't share with everybody else. And that's it. You know what I'm talking about? Look here, man. Nigga, me and Fat Boy was together almost every day. But that nigga was tight with Fred, though. But how him being tight with Fred ain't had nothing to do with how me and him were. Just like they ain't had nothing to do with how me and Breon were. They ain't had nothing to do with that. Them still my niggas regardless. Because guess what? You're not going to fool with them. You're not gonna fool with them. You know what I'm talking about? Me and Booby, we like this here. What you mean? Nigga, we hang with the same niggas though. Niggas crazy, man. You know what I'm talking about? And that's why you ain't got no brotherly love, man, because you ain't looking at him as that's my friend. You looking at it, I gotta be my brother because the law say so. Instead of saying, yes, the law says that I ought to love my neighbors, I love myself, but I see him as my brother, not because I have to, because the words say so. That's what's wrong with these niggas, man. You know what I'm saying? And I tell every one of these niggas that to their face anywhere across the country.
Yeah, because push kind of shove, you ain't gonna fool with them based on the word.
Yeah, you don't fool with him at all. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? I done told some dudes, like, I ain't got no pressure, but if it wasn't for the word, I wouldn't fool with you. Because you're not the type of man that I would spend time around because of your character. The way you kick your game. I done told niggas this to their face. If it wasn't for the word, bro, I wouldn't fool with you, bro. You on some other type of time. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not on that type of time. You do stuff I don't agree with. That ain't necessarily got to be no violation of no word. It's just certain ethics as a man. I don't agree with that, my G. I can't roll with that. And get what? You should be man enough to look a man in the face and tell him that. Don't be walking around here, he. Hey, man, you do stuff, bro. I don't get down with that. I don't get that. Hey, I ain't saying there's no sin or nothing like that, my G. I just don't roll like that. You got niggas who really get mad because niggas quiet. I done seen dudes get upset with Bruce because they don't talk. What a nigga don't want to talk, leave him alone. I'm telling you, man, it's a lot. I just see stuff here and that, man. That don't be weird to me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go off on no tangent. 1 Peter chapter 2. That junk just weird me. I seen that junk, man. That junk just bothered me all day long. This junk don't make no sense. 1 Peter chapter 2. You can pick it up at verse 17. Or as the locks put it, you know what I'm talking about? And or I think it was Style Peter. Yeah, he say if you see him, nigga, say I ain't got no friends, nigga. So if you see him, nigga, that's my family. That's how you supposed to approach it. I'm talking about. I would hope that's how niggas approached it when you was running with whoever you was running with before you got in the word. I ain't look at none of my homeboys as that's my homeboy, nigga. That's my brother. Like I said, I've been told you this here, man. We ain't had no problem telling each other that we love each other at 16 years old, once apart from one another, because it was genuine. You know what I'm saying, nigga? That's my brother, nigga. I'll shed blood for this nigga. I'll spill blood for this nigga. This nigga don't owe me nothing. I don't owe him nothing. If I got it and he need it, then I'm going to give it to him. If I ain't got it, then we just going to go it out together. If he get jumped, we getting jumped together. Now, if they shooting at us, we can't get shot together. You better run, because I'm running too. Don't stand there looking. You better run, nigga. Yeah, you better run, nigga. Niggas feel like you supposed to stay there and get shot with it. I'm going to run. I ain't got no gun. Shoot, you better run. Better get down and hide somewhere. 1 Peter 2 and 17. Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear Elohim, honor the king. Servants, be subject unto your masters with all fear, not only to be good and gentle, but also, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward. For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience towards Elohim endure grief, suffering wrongfully. That's why Mashiach was willing to have joy and sorrow, because he knew he was suffering wrongfully, and that Elohim is a just recompense. The law tells you that he will never justify the wicked over the righteous. Let me get that law for you. Come over here to the book of Exodus. Come over here to the book of Exodus. We still holding Exodus 34 and Job chapter 6. Exodus 23 and 7. You could pick, 23 and 7 is fine. Keep you from a false matter, and the innocent and righteous slay you not, for I will not justify the wicked. You know what justify is. Sadak. The wicked will never be righteous. Yahuwah is never going to make the wicked righteous over the just. He's not doing it. He's not doing it. That's why you can be able to have joy in the midst of sorrow if you're suffering wrongfully. Return back to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 19. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 19. For this is thankworthy if a man for conscience towards Elohim endure grief, suffering wrongfully. For what esteem is it when you be buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently. But if when you do well and suffer for it, and you take it patiently, this is acceptable with Elohim. For even hereunto you were called, because Mashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth. When he was reviled, he reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him who judges righteously. That's exactly what the Son did. That's how you can be able to have joy in the midst of pain. Why? Because Elohim is a merciful Elohim. He's compassionate and he has pity. You understand? Because Salem is his house. Salem is his tabernacle. Salem is peace. How can you have peace without comfort? How can you have comfort without compassion or without mercy? That can't happen. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah,